Hello, good afternoon, everybody. We are back on the live stream here in beautiful Copenhagen, beautiful, windy, and rainy Copenhagen in the World Championships. Here's Juan Carlos Salgado from World Archery, trying to give you information what is going on, but especially what is going on and you don't see on the screen, because all what's happening on the screen, you can perfectly see it. We are now in the warm-up of our show match in this field. As we have mentioned in the previous matches, we are picking up one of the matches of the 148 finals, and we bring it to this special field, prepared on the west side of the main venue, main field, to give the possibility to spectators that are watching here to see one of the matches, to show the match on the video screen, and to video stream it so everybody around the world can see a match and can see what is happening. And of course, we are picking up one of the matches of Denmark because we have the local spectators here, and we are at the same time feeding these images to our TV station, National TV Denmark 2. So we are still in the warm-up, and we will welcome very soon our second commentator, which will be Georg Tekmichov, most probably. So we can see that the wind is still a factor here and has increased a bit, quite a bit. It's still the wind coming from the west-south like this morning. This has not changed, but has increased definitely. And we can see the cloud is threatening to have rain. Right now it's raining a little bit, but it's going and coming, and so far this morning, every time we started a match, it started raining, and then when there was no match, it was not raining anymore. So the weather is very well coordinated in the bad way. You see this match is between Maya from Colombia and Sarah Sonichen. I have George coming right now, so he will be much more accurate in name. She's from Denmark. Will be the 148 elimination matches. And here we don't have the pressure we have this morning with the having not only to fight for passing to the next phase in the World Championship, but also obtaining Olympic quota places. Compound is still not Olympic division, so here these archers are competing and fighting to go to the finals, but that's it. It's not a second aim or second goal like the recurve archers has this morning. Giving a little update of recurve men right now after the 124 elimination matches. There are still 12 countries that can obtain individual quota place. So most probably in the 116 elimination it could be resolved, or in the 1-8. So until tomorrow we won't see what is happening, and the match is starting. And as also we have mentioned several times, this is a non-alternate shooting format. It's not the way we used to do the finals. The finals is in alternate format, and here we do it like that because it's another match like the rest of the 48 matches are in the field of play. So we don't have the possibility, or we don't feel it's fair to make them shoot alternate when the rest of the field is shooting non-alternate format. We can see the special form of Maya. She has a way to aim with the put the string, the position on the face, and aiming with the other eyes, not with the one that normally is done. And It's quite interesting. He has been many years in the circuit, first representing Slovenia, and then in Colombia, and she got married with a Colombian guy. Lucky him. That is at the same time his coach. So we have husband and wife here working together. And Maya started with a 26 when Sarah got a 28. And we remind everybody that this is not the set system, this is a cumulative scoring. And I'm fortunate to have here, just arriving right now, a good friend, George Tekmichov, the voice in archery, who will keep the comment this afternoon. I will stay for half an hour and then he will have better company here. But George, welcome. Thank you very much for coming again.
Muchas gracias, amigo. ¿Cómo está?
Your voice is fantastic. I'm very good. Muy bien, gracias. And especially I'm very good because sitting here in the booth and not staying there.
Okay.
It's better.
Oh boy, the conditions on the field today, they are nothing to be envied.
No.
You know, this is a beautiful place, Copenhagen, and the first time we came here was a few years ago when we had the World Cup final in Nyhavn, right?
Correct.
Which was down in the waterfront.
Yes.
Beautiful place.
Fantastic.
On the water, surrounded by buildings in a sort of like a canal.
That
right?
was the old harbor of the city.
The old harbor.
And it's curious because Nyhavn means
New.
the new harbor.
But it was
the
actually
new
the old
port,
harbor.
But it was in the old time they call it the new one. It's already old. Yes, correct.
Fantastic venue, by the way.
Amazing.
Because you had spectators on both sides looking down onto the shooting platform and no wind.
You're right.
There was nothing in terms of wind. The temperatures were about the same, but we were lucky to have good weather.
Yes, but because in fact the weather in this time of the year here in Copenhagen is not this one. This is really strange.
You're right. Our good friend Jorn Bjerendal tells me, yes, we have white winter, and now we have green winter. He told us that a couple of days ago.
There's a white winter and green winter. That's a good one.
We were on the practice field talking about his great daughter,
Yes.
and Christine, Bjerendal, of course, has been shooting very well. And we talked a little bit about, what it's like to be close to home. And he pointed out that, this weather is not what we expected. And that's unfortunate, but the archers are standing up to it. I don't hear any complaints out there when I'm walking up and down the line.
No, I think archers have learned that complaining when you are competing is not positive attitude.
Exactly.
You have to find solution and you have to take it like it is. And thank you at Matt CTO 2009 for giving a great welcome to George. Excellent. Ring GT here.
Wow, look at this. It's live internet stuff.
Yes.
That could be dangerous.
No. We have been interacting this morning. We were
that's
checking
great.
how many countries were connected. We have a roll call here in internet.
Wow.
We get more than 20 countries logging in.
That's awesome.
And we allow them to make questions and we answer as much as we can because the goal of this video stream is not make the regular TV commentary style, but it's giving information what our audience don't see, what is behind the scene, what's happening in the field of play, and give a bit of inside story because what they see, we don't need to comment, they see it. And sometimes we come back to the match, like right now, Marcin is leading by 2 points. No, it's losing by 2 points.
Well,
sorry.
we got a draw, right? Or we got it. No, sorry, you're right.
No, we are not in the set
You're
system.
right. You're right. Never mind.
We are regular scoring and 2 points leading for Sonishe. How do you pronounce this? You are the good one.
Sonishen. The N is missing off the scoreboard because it only handles so many characters.
Correct.
So she's the home favorite. Let's hope well for both of these shooters. But in the case of Miss Sonishen, obviously if she makes it to the finals, we're going to have a more enthusiastic crowd, I have to say.
Yeah, we were talking this morning, the pressure to be in the host country, and Maya, for example, with this upset, being the face of the championship in the poster, in the banners, the image, and since 2 years dreaming to go to the finals instead of winning the World Championship like she did in Belek to come here and be in the finals in the hometown. It's a lot of pressure, so local archers are dreaming to shoot in downtown Copenhagen in the city, and this is additional pressure.
Well, and they're going to have, is it true that we're going to have a member of the royal family for the finals?
It seems so. Okay, we have USA, Luxembourg, Europe.
Oh, yeah, they're checking in.
Paris, France, they're checking New Zealand.
See that? Somebody said very dangerous.
China.
When I said it's dangerous to
India,
Michigan,
but in China,
Luxembourg.
France. Good.
Zealand.
We are making another roll call here.
What time is it in New Zealand? It's got to be early.
Indeed, a different one than here, and hopefully not raining like here. Finland showing up. Good.
Well, I was talking to one of my friends from Australia, and they said they had snow in Sydney the other day, or near Sydney the other day, and that they've had a cold winter down there. which is a surprise.
Yes, we were also talking yesterday in the different hemisphere. We have the north one, now it's summer, but in the south one it's winter. And people who come from those, they are shooting indoor and they have to prepare the outdoor. And in this match, we could say that our Danish archer could be used to this weather, but don't forget that Maya, she is from Slovenia, so she's been living for several years in Colombia. I think she has not forgot what is the winter in Slovenia.
No doubt. And Maya is such a great competitor, such a tough competitor.
10 hours more.
So late at night in New Zealand.
Thank you, Marcos Barclay. Thank you very much. And in Melbourne.
That's in Melbourne too. Look at that. Yeah.
Good. Let's come back to the form. We will
back on the field of play, and
who's coming later to replace me? It's very unique.
Actually, not.
No,
there's been a number. Yeah, there was Randy Holland back in the 1990s, top American archer. Same situation, unsighted in one eye and what we call cross eye. So normally Maya would be expected to be shooting on the opposite hand.
Yep.
But she's adapted. So
we have this morning discussion about how to select archers, the left hand or right hand, by choosing the
eye dominance.
Dominance. And it was an interesting discussion here, but I think she didn't choose this from the beginning, and she has to adapt.
That arrow that you just saw could be critical. There's a liner 10 and another 10 and what could be a 9. So this could be very close right now on this end, and it could be that we're looking at a very close match overall.
We have our spotter, and I don't see any asterisks, so for them it's quite clear. And it seems that Maya has 9, 10, 10, and Soniche has 9, 10, 10. So
I'm going to agree with that. I think that's it. Yeah. So that's a 2-point advantage there for Ms. Sonishen. We were talking about handedness.
Yes.
A lot of top archers have actually selected their handedness with the bow based on dominant eye. Denise Parker comes to mind as one. At the age of 14, she won the Pan American Games back in 1987. She had only picked up a bow a couple of years before, and she had been properly instructed to select the correct eye.
Good. And
so she ended up she's right-handed, naturally right-handed, but she shoots left-handed.
Okay. And as we did this morning, we'll try to give you an update what is happening in the rest of the matches.
Okay, we've got some important shooters in some of these other matches, I'll point out. Laura Longo of Italy, university champion, 24-27 as of the last update. So we're waiting for one end to be caught up with the system. That's this end right here.
It's not that one end. The thing is, we are running our match here live, George, and then the system
so we're
is
just waiting.
Here.
So as of the first end, it was a 3-point advantage for Katie Roth.
That's correct.
And
we have
Sakineh Ghansempur of Iran, trailing Della Hadnani of Indonesia by 1 point. Inge van Kaspel of Netherlands, a highly accomplished shooter, 2-point advantage over Margaret Elnasdottir of Ireland, who I shot next to at the Vegas shoot. She's the shooter from Iceland.
And let's pick some of our, let's say,
Deli Trisayadinda won the Asian Grand Prix. She's from Indonesia. Right now she has a 1-point lead over Yumiko Honda of Japan, who won the World Cup Indoor about 3 years ago. Ms. Honda. Yesim Bostan, one of the up-and-coming younger shooters, junior champion from Turkey.
29 against 26 to Olena from Ukraine.
That's right. Ivana Budin of Croatia, trailing Tricia Oshiro of Canada. I'm not familiar with Tricia, but it looks like she's doing well.
Canada 27, Croatia 25.
Runa Greideland of Norway has a big advantage right now. It looks like the other archer from Iceland that she is shooting against, Miss Magnusdottir, has had a problem on that first end, it appears. Irina Markovic with an updated score right now. She is looking at a 6-point lead over her opponent from Italy. Linda Ochoa of Mexico has a 1-point lead over Gizem Kotzaman of Turkey.
8 archers. They are not shooting this 148 elimination. Archers ranked in the qualification day 1 to 8 are not shooting now. They will join the competition 116. So all these archers that we see now has been ranked from the position 9 to lower.
Just a couple of other shooters to mention. Fiona McLean from Canada, an acquaintance of mine for the past 30 years. I used to shoot with Fiona and her partner Sean when we were in Toronto at the Archers of Caledon. And Fiona right now is ahead of the great Sandrine Van Dionant by 3 points. Sandrine, of course, a former recurve shooter for France and now very successful shooting compound.
And before she was very good in compound, came to recurve and
back
then
and
back
forth.
in compound.
Yeah, she's a multiplayer. Huh? She's awesome.
Yes. But France has not been a good day yesterday and today for France.
What is up there? What's going on?
It's tough because you can have 1 or 2 bad results, but most of your archers having the bad result, it's very hard punishment to a federation, to work of the coaches. For sure they have done the best to get them ready, but they will have to analyze what has happened here and try to find solution, because there's still option for them in the Olympic Games to get places. But they really
the biggest federation.
They really are. Yes, they really touchdown. I saw them sad. I saw them a bit low, and it's like UK. Great Britain was also very disappointed yesterday with the result of the men and women team. We were expecting more.
Something unusual happened with UK, Juan Carlos. I spoke to Larry Godfrey in Antalya a month and a half ago, and he talked about seeing me here, and he's not here.
Yep.
At some point, the UK decided to substitute in younger shooters for some reason.
It's clear that you need to renew the team with young people, but how to do it and when to do it is something very individual, and you don't have the full picture to evaluate. But it's clear that younger archers has much more pressure, and it's not easy to handle here when they have the full responsibility of the team. When you have someone experienced and can manage this, sometimes help, but who knows what really happened. But the fact is that the result was not good for them, and they will have to work harder, different,
you just have to
still progress for next season and try to catch some.
You just have to wonder whether the timing was appropriate because of the importance of those Olympic slots for this particular event.
Good.
Well, we've got a great match going on here. Let's turn our attention back to it right now. And Ms. Sondersen of Denmark is looking at a 3-point lead right now after 9 arrows. And of course, it's 15 arrows in one of these matches. Let's talk about the target a little bit, because we may have some people tuning in who aren't familiar with it.
And the distance.
And
we are not in 70 anymore.
It's 50 meters.
We were.
You know the trouble with these TV presentations and these YouTube type presentations?
That's what I was going to say right now.
You just can't get the scale.
That's it.
You can't get the scale.
We will receive comment that we don't see exactly, or we don't feel what is if it's 50. Now you look this image of the field of play.
We have an image here called a camera 3. That's it. It's up right now. That's a good image.
Target and you don't know.
Now you see what it looks like to the shooter.
50 look like 55.
Yeah, sure. Because the camera is a little further back. But realistically, look at that. When you hold the bow up, the target looks smaller than if you hold like a pin for a dress pin, at hand length, right from your eye. That's what the target looks like. So imagine hitting something in the middle of that. 1/10 of a degree in elevation change takes you from the middle of the 10 to the top of the target. So this is a very critical and special person who is capable of consistently shooting dead center time after time after time after time. And you're seeing very close to the finest level of competition right now. This is really nice to see.
And we'll go back to the 50 meters. Recurve was 70. This is not a system, it's cumulative scoring. We are not shooting alternate shooting, they shoot at the same time. And the target, we call it 80 centimeter because the diameter from the
full size version.
The full size version, but here it's not a full size version because these archers, they really don't miss small as the yellow. So we keep some colors to help to aim. But we see the target has, we call it the 80 centimeter target face, 6 rings, because it has 6 rings, go from 10 to the 5. And that's what we see right now here. Yesterday we saw 2 because it's a team, and we were shooting each archer, let's say 2 arrows per target, 3 arrows per target, in the team.
So a lot of people ask, why is it?
Here is just 3.
Why is it the compounds, which is the more accurate, the more technical part of our sport, why do they have a closer target?
That's a very good question, and thank you for bringing it up. When World Archery was deciding to make different compound to recurve, the discussion was, should we move compound further because it's more accurate and recurve shorter? And we kept recurve longer for simple and one big reason. In recurve, you can see the fly of the arrow. In super slow motion, that is turning, is flexing, and the wind is affecting because the parabol is higher, and you can really see. And this is a image, a very impressive image that is much more or less the brand of our sport.
Yeah.
And if you go back to the Olympic in Beijing 2008 with this rain, and you could see a super slow motion camera with archers leaving the bow and seeing the flight. When in compound, in 70 meter, it's so flat that you cannot see it, and it's not flexing because with the release, and it's not turning so much. So it's more boring shot in TV, not the sport, of course. So we decided compound is much more accurate, so have to be longer distance. But in indoor is really what the compounds are dominating.
18 meters.
18 meters. So let's put it back closer. And we have comments of some archers, why not keep 70 for both? We want to make it different, to have a chance to put them Olympic, to really see the difference in scoring and equipment and distance and in type of archers, type of game.
The formal term is differentiation, and we had a differentiation commission of athletes looking at ways to make compound different enough from recurve that the IOC would go, yes, this is a different sport, it deserves its own medals someday in the Olympic Games.
Correct.
And that's the real goal here, right?
And that's what it is, and we try some other method, like the hit-miss system was not successful in compound, took out excitement. We saw archers sometimes more time missing than hitting. We don't want to give this image of top archers missing more than hitting. So we went back to the scoring because in compound an archer can make all 10. Very often the match is about, let's see if he's not making the 9, if he make a full score. And very often they're close to this full perfect score.
And you know the crowd loves that. The people love that. I have been lucky enough to have announced at a few archery events where top level scores or world record scores were set, and people, the crowd, the spectators love it.
Yep.
Of course the archers love it too.
You feel it when it's silence, and the first one who make a 9 is, you hear the audience. Good, let's go back to the match. Wow, this is a good
10-10-10.
30, that's...
Yeah, Maya has just made up potentially some of the gap. It's a 2-point difference now with 3 arrows to go. It's going to be tough for her to win, but if she keeps up the pressure, things could change.
And yes, in compound, they are so tight and so high level that it's more or less about not missing the 10, when in recurve is trying to make the 10.
That's exactly right.
So in compound, the archers are supposed to make 10, and every 9 you do is you're giving possibilities to your opponent. When in recurve, you are more or less in, and any 10 you are doing, you are escalating in this match. But you know, they're talking about the 10-10-10. Your 10-10-10 is more or less branded, eh? George is the famous in our archery circuit for this 10-10-10 that many try to copy, imitate, or improve, but there's no way. This is only one George making 10-10-10. This is George Tekmichov, now working for Easton. You are the jumping guy. Easton, then 2 or 3 years Hoyt, then coming back to Easton.
Well,
you are a polyphacetic, we say that, no?
It's like the hot potato. Nobody wants to hold it too long, so you get sent from one division to another, but it's all the same company. So
we could say no one wants to hold it, or we could say everybody wants to have you, so you have to share your...
No, it's just nobody wants to hold it. No, just kidding. I think.
Okay.
I did get an email this morning, though.
Let's say if you don't come back tomorrow, it's because I don't want to hold you here.
That's right. That's right. No, I got an email this morning.
Yes.
I got it from Mark Pizzoni, our president at Easton, who said that he really liked listening to what we were doing because he knew that I was working for a change, is what he said.
So they were checking you're working. Good.
Yes, yes.
So we are talking about uniforms here. We could adopt the beach volleyball uniform rule.
I'm not going to say a word about that.
No,
there are some archers that would look great in a beach volleyball uniform, and I'll say that nothing else. That's it.
Let's say that in a serious way, where archer has been concerned of the look of the athletes in the field of play, we have adopted some concern and rules for making our athletes and our coaches look better. We want to be seen, especially since we start being more and more visible in TV, to be seen as a professional sport. And now the decision is how we want to be seen, as a cool sport with very fancy and sexy or interesting clothing, or more like a golf serious player, more classic. And this is where some of the rule has take place. I don't think we are ready to look like the beach volleyball men or women, and but we did indeed have helped to get the uniform better shape, more design. We were talking yesterday about it's more and more design and interesting individual exclusive design of the. It's not the classic polo with the color, and we can really see this evolving in the way we in World Archery like. Let's look at funny, professional, and have some personality.
You know, when I look at teams and I look at who looks professional and who has a look that you want to emulate, every time somebody asks me a question along those lines, I have only one answer. Only one answer. It's Korea.
Korea, yes.
You know, the Koreans always are professional. They travel wearing a nice uniform. When they land at the airport, they're in a nice uniform. They walk together. They, on the field of play right now, are all dressed exactly alike. You'll notice they are all wearing the vest. They're all wearing the hat. They look like what they are, which is true professionals.
And we are many teams. France has been always famous for getting a good uniform, and especially having design, have an interesting design and different design for the male and the female uniform. Italy, they are always uniform, probably not so fashion as some
France,
of the French ones. And I know that my Italian friend will be hurt because Italy is a country of fashion and style.
But France, you know, especially, and forgive me, I know it sounds perhaps a little sexist, I don't intend it, but the French compound women in particular have always been gorgeous in their uniforms.
Japan also go very uniform, but more classical way. They go with suit in the airport. They come here. In the opening ceremony, you see that what team is really taking care of. Colombia, Venezuela. So that has improved a lot, and I think we are very proud to see. And linked to this, our judges, our staff, our event team. We have a uniform provided by our sponsor Fila.
Yes.
And really, it's part. We want to see be seen professional. We also have to wear professional.
I like the comment that was just made by Ivan Tomac. The archer's outfits should be classy. It's a privilege to be an archer on pro scene. I agree. I completely agree.
There have been a lot of discussion. It's very often when you go to marketing people, it's about who you want to touch, what is the audience, and this is something interesting. What is our market? In archery, what is our market? Are we more like basketball, a bit of hip hop, rap, cool, and middle-aged or kids, teenagers, or are we more about golf, the middle class, high class? Having said that, whenever we look at archery, we are quite a family sport, from the kids to the teenagers to the middle age to the adult and even the grandparents. So it's difficult to touch the audience, the market with the uniform, because we are so wise and so open that let's look professional at least.
I totally agree. You know, that's my taste. I know that, you know, our friend Jim Easton had that in mind. You know, it was Jim that felt that everybody should have a tucked-in shirt, should have a nice, clean presentation. He was that way himself, and I think that he kind of set the bar back in the 1980s and 90s for the improvements to that sort of thing.
A man who saved our sport more or less from the Olympic and has been a visionary. And let's go back to after 15 arrows, we have Maya, still 2 points behind. Maya from Colombia, Maya Marcen, and Sarah Sonnichsen from Denmark, leading by 2 points, 140-142. It seems that she is not able to come back. This 2-point difference in the first end is still there.
Yeah. So that settles it. We have a situation here where we will be looking at Ms. Sonnichsen moving on, and we'll have the rest of the scores coming up shortly. We've got them here on our results system from Ian Sale, and in just a moment we'll check those. But it's looking like a decisive victory for Ms. Sonnichsen of Denmark, and a congratulations to Maya Marcen of Colombia, hanging tight in there for the last end at 10-10-8. She had a chance, JC, she had a chance to tie it up if she'd shot 10-10-10, so it's unfortunate, but she did her best. I have no doubt about that.
Yes. And we were talking this morning, like when the archers walk to the target and you see them talking, and this morning they were sharing the umbrella.
Yeah, it's kind of nice, huh?
It's not like it's my umbrella, go out.
Yeah, can you imagine what other sports have that? Probably some, but
I don't know what they can use the umbrellas for, but in any case, it's nice to see two competitors, and when an archer shoots against another one, is shooting against himself first or herself first, and then to the other, comparing the score with the other opponent. But of course, as you say, the fair play and the sportsmanship is there. and you know that it's about you and not about the other one taking any kind of advantage.
When Steve Anderson and I were commentating yesterday, he made the comment that, you know, the judge is going to do the best job they can because we all know who they are. We know each other because we are a small community in our sport, really. In the big scheme of things, yes, we have the biggest world championships ever, but it's still less than 1,500 people on this field, and it's mostly people we see again and again.
Yeah, a big family moving around the world.
That's right. And you know better than anybody, Juan Carlos, for the last 10 years.
Yes, Koreans are professional, and this comment done by our audience, but not only Koreans, in more and more countries in a competitive level, and we are talking about high competition, not about growing the sport in the country. The top archers, more and more, are professional. Korea has a professional, not league, but a professional teams that compete 2 or 3 times altogether.
And a lot of support.
250 professional archers, 200 professional coaches. But if you look to China, all the companies team, all the regional teams they call them, they are also professional. They pay to do that. And the coaches in each of those teams are like that. And we have other countries like Chinese Taipei, India, and of course in Europe we have French archers. Some of them are also professional, Spanish archers, Italian archers. So they are getting more and more professional archers in the circuit, and that's the sport evolving. Yes, George, I can see you are checking other matches. Is there any surprise, upset, or something that we should mention?
Still uploading as far as I can tell, so we'll wait just a couple of moments here.
This morning we received many questions where to see the results in live. You can go to World Archery website. You can go to the new app we have, World Archery Live. It's available in Android, for iOS, Apple in a week.
In 1 week, iOS.
Yes, okay. iOS, correct.
And I like the original ianseo.net.
Of course, and Yanseo always. I don't mention too much Yanseo because they are always copying the address, which is good, but of course Yanseo. And if you go to the website, you can link to Yanseo as well, so no problem. Just feel free. And here in this video stream, you have the
there's a live link. Look at that.
A live link, and you have how to subscribe to the live video stream on our TV.
Yeah, I was looking at the new World Archery website.
Yep.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you very much.
It's a lot of work, I know, because the old infrastructure has been around more than 10 years, I think, right?
Our communication manager, the very young Chris Wells, has done an amazing job with the IT team, with Miguel Angel, Padre Pablo, with Matteo Pisani, and all the office with Ludivine, and everybody involved in this project. Has been a huge project. Has been more than 8-9 months in work, and it's still evolving. We are still developing, and the second version will be a bit more functional, but it's a step forward to communicate and share our vision to our community, and we hope that the audience like it, and that the information will be easier to find and much more information available. George, I think I have to let myself go.
Does that mean I've got to sit here by myself
no,
and prattle on? No, I think I've got company coming.
You have a very good company, much better than me, a really good expert. You call it the little cat?
No, you know, he's the petite kitten, I think, is the something like. No, it's the alternate for the United States team. Did you know that?
No.
For this event? He's the alternate for the United States team.
Now that he doesn't hear us, it's a great guy. I met him since many years.
He really is.
I'm a bit jealous because he got one of the best archers.
He has married into the archery dynasty of Mexico, the Ochoa family.
The Ochoa family. Well, Linda Ochoa, husband of Linda Ochoa.
That's
also
right.
a great archer.
Steve Ochoa.
Steve. No. It's the time that he's losing the family name instead of her.
Well, she's officially Linda Ochoa Anderson. And we put that on her new quiver belt, so we had to fit extra letters.
I think I have to leave because he's looking at me a bit weird.
He's wondering what we're saying.
Steve is a great guy. Now, working
6'7", by the way.
Working for
Easton.
He got
and
a new
Steve
job,
is
a new
in
promotion.
charge. Most of shooters know Steve because most shooters have to deal with him. He's our pro staff manager. Which isn't what it sounds like. We actually don't have much pro staff at Easton.
But we have a good
but
guy who cares about
people to take care of people. Yeah.
A guy who cares about it. So let's welcome him. Thank you very much. Stay tuned. Have fun, and see you later.
Muchas gracias, mi amigo. And so as Juan Carlos hands the headset over to El Neco Grande, the big cat Steve Anderson, We are just starting to get it. Here we go. Score updates have come in right now, and it's victory for Danielle Brown of GBR. We're showing victory for Katie Roth of Canada. It's victory for Sakineh Gangsapur of Iran by 1 point. Just checking real quick, making sure. Yes, we do have a shoot-off. We have a shoot-off on target 20. Shoot-off on target 20, which we will report live as it happens. Checking to see if there are any more, and the answer appears to be no shoot-offs besides that one on target 20. Welcome to Steve Anderson, the big cat. He's here with me now as Juan Carlos Holgado heads off to take a glass of water. And I'm looking forward to this shoot-off, which is about to take place on target 20. Steve, it is going to be Tina Karkainen of Finland, and our good friend Ted Palomäki would have something to say about my pronunciation on that. And her opponent is the great archer from Venezuela, Olga Bosch, who has had a resurgence, shall we say, after having had a tremendous career earlier on in the 2008-2007 timeframe. Olga Bosch.
First time I met Olga was 2013 World Games in Cali, Colombia. And actually...
That was the World Games that our good friend Kevin Wilkie won, right?
No, Kevin was earlier on. He was 2009 edition when it was still field archery in, I believe, Thailand. It was held, or Taiwan, somewhere.
Taiwan.
Somewhere in that area of the world.
Taiwan.
Yeah.
That's right. Yep. You're absolutely correct. Sorry about that. So let's see where this goes with the shoot-off. You want to rattle off a few more of the winners here?
Yeah, where do we leave off?
Let's pick it up with Delhi Thrisayadinda, who has lost to Yumiko Honda.
Yumiko Honda, the lone Japanese compound shooter, I do believe.
Yes. Ms. Honda, also the winner of the World Cup Indoor back about 3 years ago.
Yeah, we don't see a whole lot of Japanese compound shooters. Hope to see more of them coming in the future. They certainly have potential to make a splash, much as the way the Koreans have.
You know, it's kind of uphill battle with the All Japan Archery Federation. They're not big on, for whatever reason, they're not apparently too big on promoting compound there, but hopefully that'll change in the future.
Yeah, I see. I foresee that compound, you know, if we can get it into the Olympics, we may see a lot of these countries adopting it more.
Victory for Ivana Budin.
Yeah, the current silver medalist at the 2013 World Championships.
Okay, looks like we have a winner on that shoot-off that took place, and that'll show up on the results system, so those of you following can tune in on that, see what's going on there, because I don't have access to it. Sorry about that. So close yet so far. We're on the field of play, but that happened about 100 meters from us, and we didn't happen to spot it when it did.
Yeah, the field of play today is, with the first round matches, is absolutely humongous, stretching out probably 200, 250 meters away from us.
Yeah, I'm just going to check real quick with the spotting scope. It looks to me like we have a total, just for perspective, there are a total of 54 targets, and the rain has just started coming down. Steve, it's starting to sleet out there.
Blue skies and rain.
At the same
all day
time.
long.
Okay, here's target assignments for the next pass. We've got Marcella Tonioli of Italy, the world champion. She's going to be up against Sarah Sonicen of Denmark, who we just saw defeat Maja Marsen of of Colombia, formerly of Slovenia. And Marcella will be shooting on target 1. Ms. Sonicen will be shooting on target 2, where she started out.
So they're keeping Sarah here for the featured matches.
Yes, indeed, because she's from Denmark, and because we hope that we've got a bunch of folks from Denmark very interested in this event. We know we do, because I just found out today, completely sold out. And Juan Carlos told me you and I are not going to be allowed to watch the finals because there's no chairs for us.
Well, we'll have to climb up on the roof of Parliament or something.
We're going to watch Carl and his commentator on YouTube.
Okay.
When those guys show up on Archery TV.
also be live.
And I'll be in the bar with a soft drink, watching while the thing happens.
I'll probably be sitting in the waiting area.
Can't you get a credential as a coach from Mexico when Linda shows up there?
We'll see.
How did
Hopefully
it go
she's still
for
in the
her,
final. She had a fairly solid victory. So
Well, she looks like she's having fun, by the way.
yeah, she's enjoying herself. Always does. She loves archery, loves competing. She's been doing this for like 15 years, so I think might be starting to wear on her a little bit, or at least become somewhat monotonous. But every time she gets to a competition, she kind of picks it back up and finds herself enjoying it again. And
Well, maybe we can get her on a recurve bow. That's fun.
yeah, her brother-in-law, as I mentioned, is an Olympian and was always pushing for that. But I don't know if she's willing to make those moves. And with Mexico having a pretty strong women's recurve team,
Yeah, that's pretty
I
motley.
certainly doubt she's looking to make a change this year.
Yeah, that's right. You got to take on the likes of Ida Rahman and really work hard if you want to make a team in Mexico right now.
Yeah, they're one of the stronger teams worldwide.
Yeah, and have been for a few years now. It's
Yep.
pretty remarkable.
Yeah, with
They-
the
another one of those teams that got a great Korean coach in their program.
yep, and they actually had two for a point. They had one specifically working with Aida, and they had another one working with the men's team. And
Yeah, Songyi, right? She
Yeah.
ended up going to GBR. She's at GBR right now.
yep,
And so, yeah, they've just had tremendous success, and they've done it all. I'd say in the last 15 years, that's where the infrastructure really went in, and then they just started building from there.
yeah, and with the success that Aida and Mariana Vitia had at the 2012 games.
And let's not forget the men. I
Yeah.
mean, we've got Luis. I sometimes referred to him because I've got to give, archers animal names, right?
Yes.
I can't just call him Abuelo.
No,
He's the Wolverine,
Wolverine.
especially when he lets his hair out.
Ah.
And, you know what I'm talking
yeah,
about.
after he's had it pinned down all day.
Oh yeah, he's got that that Hugh Jackman look,
Yeah,
And then we've got, just a number of guys that have been in that program for a long time that are just really talented shooters.
yep, they've had some success as well. But
Juan Rene.
yeah, Juan Rene has been 3-time Olympian, I believe.
Yeah.
Since the 04 games.
Yeah, at least, yeah. Okay, looks like getting ready to launch here. We're going right to it, no practice. Let's take a look at a few more of the matches that are coming up. We've got Ivana Budin of Croatia against Yasim Bostan of Turkey. Yasim is one of the up-and-coming great junior shooters who's making her transition to the adult ranks. Always a talented shooter from Turkey. Linda Ochoa is up against Miss Pawanam of India, Lily Pawanam of India. I've seen Lily shoot pretty well at the Asian Grand Prix in Thailand that I officiate at for the last 3 years.
Yeah, and the Indian compound shooters can really get hot at times. So
Boy, are they hard-working.
yeah, they will wear a bow out.
This is not a joke. They are maybe the most hard-working shooters that I know of because they literally will wear a bow out. Because what happens apparently is, well, you tell me, is they have more than one person using a bow?
Yeah, at times I've heard stories where they might have a recreation center per se that they shoot at, and an archer might come and have their morning with the bow, and then the bow will be passed to the next one who will shoot it during the lunchtime hours, and it's a shared bow. And we've actually seen this, as bizarre as this might sound. A few years back, the American men shot against an Indian team that actually had 2 archers sharing a bow. So they had 3 archers, 2 bows.
That was because of an equipment failure, but
they
did.
They made it work.
They really did make it work. It was
Yeah.
remarkable, wasn't it? Was that in Ogden? Was that?
Yeah, it may have been,
I think
yeah.
it was, yeah. Well, we've got the great Sherry Gale of Australia coming up against Janine Meissner of Germany. A couple of great shooters there. That'll be on target 17. Another one to look for will be the great Danny Brown of GBR against Maria Cintron of Puerto Rico on target 14.
And Miss Cintron actually was the Arizona Cup winner this year, so she's had some success herself.
Yeah, so that's going to be it's going to be a tough match is what I'm trying to say. We're looking at, let's see, one of my favorites, Sandrine van Dienant, one of the nicest people I know. Target 25, and she's up against Sarah Cornelius of South Africa. And we've seen the South Africans doing a great job, not to mention Janine van Kredenberg of South Africa, who finds herself up against Isabel Danielsson of Sweden. The great Russian shooter, Natalia Avdieva of Russian Federation's up against Cristina Juarez of Mexico. Whose name is it that I don't see here? It is the great two-time world champion from the Russian Federation.
Albina Lozanova.
Albina is not on this list because she got cut earlier.
And our reigning world champion, Christina Heigenhauser, also eliminated in the last round.
Yep. Christina. And it's windy again.
Yep, here it comes again.
Yep. Okay, let's turn our attention to the current match right now after a total of 3 shots, first end complete. And Marcella started out strong with a 10.
A pair of 8s to close that one with a 26.
It's a tough break, you know.
Yeah.
On the other hand, we have a tied score right now, right? No, we don't. We have a 1-point deficit for Marcella. She'll shoot first when we resume.
Well, actually, they'll be shooting simultaneously in this format. But
oh, that's right. Sorry, Steve.
We aren't there yet.
Nice catch. That was kind of you not to point out my stupidity there, as much as you could have.
We aren't there yet, but Marcella's a strong shooter.
I'm not used to doing commentary except for when we're in a situation
in a medal match.
Yeah. So, what color is Marcella's hair today?
It is a light blue.
Sea green? Would you call that sea green?
Call it seafoam green, maybe a platinum blue.
Marcella's got a special style all her own.
Yes. Super nice girl.
Oh, boy, is she ever. Really just nice person.
Yeah, she's highly decorated archer, highly decorated individual.
Did really well at the 2011 Worlds in close to her home. That was in Torino. Memorable event. I really enjoyed that one. I didn't enjoy the fact that we had pizza every night because there was only one restaurant within about 10 miles where they were keeping us, you know. But
well, you know what they say about pizza, right, George?
I don't. What?
Even when it's bad, it's good.
Yeah, you got a point there. And you know what? The Tuscan pizza is right up there with any. Although I got to say, I'm partial to Croatian pizza.
My favorite.
Yeah. Zagreb pizza in particular.
I could fly to Zagreb just for pizza.
Yeah, sure. And once you got there, you could afford it.
Yes.
As opposed to Italy, which is a little more expensive.
Yes.
All right. Scores are going to be rolling in just a moment. We'll have an update for you. Steve, what's your prospects for where we're going from here? Just looking at how things could shape up.
Looking over,
maybe give that a little thought, and we'll get back to that. But
looking over some of these brackets, Sarah Lopez has a pretty good bracket going through. She will possibly face a couple of strong shooters in either Inga van Kaspel, Choi Bo-min, who has a World Cup gold medal to her name, I believe. But her side of the bracket is very favorable. Looking down the list on the other side, I think Toya Chernay could make a run.
There's an interesting match on target 7. It's Choi Bo-min versus Yumiko Honda. And Ms. Choi, who's one of the great Korean shooters, former recurve shooter, she's got a 1-point advantage over Ms. Honda. It's a draw between Ivana Budin and Yasim Bostan, and those two have come up against each other many times in the past.
Yeah, and Ivana, as we mentioned, was the silver medalist at the last World Championships. Yasim Bostan is up-and-comer and has had some really great match scores, and definitely no slouch, and I give her a couple of years and you'll see her on some podiums.
Okay, your wife is down 1 point. Linda Ochoa has a 1-point deficit versus Ms. Pawanam, Lily Pawanam of India. Let's see here.
Yeah, 28-29, so she didn't shoot bad.
No.
The Indian opponent
by
just
no
shot
means.
Good.
Sandrine has a 1-point lead over Sarah. Sandrine van Dienant of France with a 1-point lead over Sarah Cornelius of South Africa.
And you see the South African shooters are often very strong in windy conditions.
Lucy O'Sullivan pulls out, the Jersey girl, pulls out a 26-23 advantage, 3-point lead for the Jersey girl, Lucy O'Sullivan. I call her that because it means one thing to us and another thing to people from the island of Jersey.
Yes, if you're American and have watched MTV, it's a whole nother meaning
Yes, indeed. Lucy's an old friend, so I can get away with it. Let's see. Isabel Danielsson is trailing Janine van Kredenberg of South Africa by 1 point right now.
Yeah, Janine, a really good shooter from South Africa who actually won the Nîmes indoor tournament this year.
I egregiously misspoke. Albina Loganova is still in it.
Oops.
My bad.
Yeah, she's got a solid advantage over her opponent right now.
Yeah. 8-point advantage in one end. Obviously something bad happened.
Yeah, it could be a miss or it could be two very unfortunate arrows in the blue.
Sarah Preels and Irina Markovic, 1 point difference in favor of Irina. Let's take it back to our marquee match going on right now. It's Marcella Tonioli of Italy and Sandra Sanderson of Denmark, and Sanderson's got herself a 1 point lead.
She does. They both opened up with a 10 and a 9.
Here comes
Sarah
Marcella.
is just off.
Marcella shoots. There's a 10-10-10 for Denmark, and Marcella with a 10-10-9. So it's a 2 point differential now for Ms. Sondersen.
Yeah.
Well, the board shows 1, so I must have been wrong there.
Yeah, one of Sarah's is just off. And should be noted the wind really laid down that end, and now it's starting to pick up again. Generally, the wind operates off the DOS buzzer. It begins as the clock starts, and it tends to die down when the end has completed.
Our spotter seems to have done a good job on that one. It does look like a 9. You know, here's the working theory for why the wind comes up. The trees are angered by the sound of the DOS buzzer, and so they start to wave in protest of the noise, causing the wind to blow. I think that's a workable theory.
See if we can get you a research grant on that one.
All right. I came up with that all by myself.
Just now?
No, yesterday. I was discussing it with some other people.
Ah.
I don't know why they looked at me so strangely. It made perfect sense to me.
And we have this one tree, this lone tree right behind us.
And it's an angry one, too, because it's right by the DOS buzzer.
Generally.
That's my theory, and I'm sticking to it.
So coming up, we expect to have Braden Galantine visiting. He might even take over the mic for a little while.
Yeah, actually, I was hoping that maybe you'd interview him for a few minutes. I'm sure some people would be interested to know why it is that his veterinarian girlfriend has an interest in him. That's
some other developments in that story, actually. Apparently, I'm going to have Q fever soon.
Oh, is this something else you can get from a tick?
Something else, yes. Not from a tick, from a piece of gum that I dropped on the ground and then ate after inspecting it closely.
You thought the 3-second rule would be good enough, and you were wrong?
It was unchewed. It had a hard shell.
What is Q fever?
I do not know.
Something you get from dropping something and eating it on the ground?
If I have a high fever and I'm vomiting, you should probably take me to the hospital.
I'm not taking you anywhere. I'm getting far away from you if you start doing that.
Right. Because of the paperwork or?
All of the above.
Okay.
I'm not flying back with somebody with those conditions. You know what makes me feel bad a little bit is when Juan Carlos is on here, he's giving people all kinds of really good, pertinent information. And what I've found is we're talking like a couple old ladies.
The things that come out of us at times are...
My apologies to those of you in the internet universe having to deal with this.
You know, something that just crossed my mind,
you get what you pay
related.
For. You get what you pay for.
Yeah, true. So something that just came across my mind, actually archery related. Sarah Sonicson shooting here on camera in front of the crowd. Should she make it through today, get to the finals match, this is a really good warm-up for that. I think she'll be
the pressure,
she'll be prepped.
Yeah. I mean, Marcella's used to this, but Sarah's not.
Yeah, Sarah's...
Not as much, I bet.
Sarah's a younger shooter. Marcella has been there and done this before, mixed team world champion.
But look at that. She's standing right up to it, isn't she?
Yeah.
She's up 1 point right now versus Marcella Tonioli. In some of the other matches, Sakineh Ghansempur of Iran is up by 3 versus Katie Roth of Canada. Inge van Kaspel of Netherlands with a commanding lead over Marian Ranjbar of Iran. Choi Bo-min of Korea with a 1 point lead now over Yumiko Honda of Japan. 2 point lead for Barbara Scott, of New Zealand versus Victoria Diakova of Ukraine. It's a 2 point lead for Yasim Bostan of Turkey versus Ivana Budin of Croatia. 3 point lead for Runa Greideland of Norway versus Janine Hansberger. Marina Markovic of Netherlands has got a 1-point lead over Sarah Priels of Belgium. And one of my favorite folks from Colombia, Alejandra Usquiano, who you fixed her bow the other day, right?
Yeah, I did. I don't remember what I did, but it was
something important. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah.
But anyway, you fixed it well because she's got a 2-point lead right now. When Steve and I aren't nattering along here on YouTube, we are working in the equipment repair booth, which thankfully has not been a very busy. I think the only thing I've really fixed is a spotting scope.
Yeah, which was really interesting. We were brought a spotting scope, and they handed it to me. I took the scope, turned it over, and the prism hit the objective lens. So
that's a bad sign.
Yeah,
I'm educated enough to know that's not a good sign.
Yeah, when a 3x2-inch piece is rattling around on the inside of the scope body, something has clearly gone wrong. And I told him, you know what, George will love to fix this.
And I appreciate that. It took me at least, half an hour, I think.
Half an hour, little diligent work, some glue repair. And
glad we had those jeweler screwdrivers. That thing would never have come apart.
It went back together, probably better than it came apart.
Except here's what we discovered when we opened the thing up after a long and trying effort. It had already been broken and fixed. There were 2 spots of epoxy where the broken metal evidenced itself. So
credit them for being able to put it back together once.
Yes, indeed. I was surprised they didn't happen to mention that it had broken before. That would have been useful to know.
Yeah, so it looks like Marcella has pulled even with Sarah.
Excellent.
So yeah, Marcella Tonioli at 84, Sarah Sonicson of Denver at 84, Denmark, also at 84, pending official ruling on those scores.
Did you see what just happened there? It's a illuminated reticle. And I see why they did it. We've got a liner that may very well be out.
Yeah.
Which means, in fact, I think it looks to me, looking at it through my my 80 power Zeiss here, I'm pretty sure it's out. I think we're going to be seeing Marcella Tonioli on top of this right now with 6 arrows to go, Steve.
Well, they have it as a 9 already. So it shouldn't drop her score if they do rule it out.
Good call. You're right.
Generally they would rule that as a 10 with an asterisk.
Yep.
Usually they give the higher favor.
No. This is what they've done is correct. They've done is correct.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 9 with that. When you see a 10 with an asterisk, you know the scoring guy screwed up.
Makes sense. Not enough room on the LED board.
9 could be a 10 is what that means. So it actually could be that Miss Sonnerson has the lead here by 1. We'll find out in a moment.
Moving quickly through the matches, the field crew, you see the volunteers running out with the PDAs for archers to record their electronic scores.
Do you know how you know that a tournament is well run? When you don't really notice the field crew. And I got to admit that, all week long, I've noticed this thing is just happening, but you don't really notice the field crew. They just kind of melt away, and everything happens on time.
Yeah, for me, they are wearing orange jackets. I've mistaken them for the Dutch team.
Yes, it's like, oh my God, there's a horde of Dutch people out there. They're all wearing the right color orange. But seriously, what great volunteers. I mean, they're just doing a great job out there.
Yeah, they are, and throughout the venue, really. They say that
they're
Danish
friendly
people
folk.
are the happiest people. And
I can see why.
Yeah.
Well, I can see that it must be true because I haven't had a crossword with anybody. Anybody that knows me knows that's special. All right, then. Let's see. Okay, we've got Choi Bo-min pulling out the lead over Yumiko Honda with 6 shots to go. Miss Choi is up by 3. Scoreboard is currently showing a draw between Marcella and Miss Sonnersen of Denmark, but again, we're waiting for that to be made official. 3-point lead for Sakineh Ganspur. Looking at a few others here, Isabel Danielson of Sweden leading by 3. Natalia Avdieva, 5-point lead. It's a 2-point lead for Lucy O'Sullivan. 2-point lead for Sandrine Van Dionant, turning things around. Big lead, 7-point lead for Katarzyna Salaska of Poland. Pardon me for that. And a 7-point lead for Miss Esposito of Brazil. 11-point lead for Maria Vinogradova of Russian Federation. 14-point lead for Helen Forsberg of Sweden. That's pretty much shot the fox against Louise Redmond with 6 shots to go, unless something bad happens. Draw between Andrea Marcos of Spain and Maria Shklolna of Ukraine. Janine Meissner of Germany. 3-point lead over Sherry Gale of Australia.
Yeah,
and Linda Ochoa is on a 6-point lead.
I see down the list, Janine Van Kratenberg must have had, it looks like her second end, she only scored 17 points, must have had.
That sounds like a miss, doesn't it?
There, yeah. So we'll see what becomes of that. She's steadily handled her opponent in the other end, so with a 3-point deficit, it's still possible she could come back. That would be a big upset.
Okay, we've got a draw right now after a pair of 10s. By the way, the draw did stand between our feature match here on YouTube. It's Marcella Tonioli and Sarah Sonnersen of Denmark. So as that continues, the ladies are both shooting at the same time right now. 10 for Sandra and a 10 for Marcella. We've got a draw. And we've got 5 shots to go total. Here comes Marcella once again.
Yeah, the wind's picking up right here. It's starting to shake the tent we're sitting in.
And you might be having been prescient on that. It seems like it pushed it to the 9 ring for Marcella on that shot. You know, the wind has just been so difficult to read. I actually had the impression, because it's so changing, so variable, that you might as well just hold in the middle. I mean, sometimes it feels that way anyway.
Yeah, I mean, get your first off in your first arrow off in the middle and see what happens from there.
Fire for effect.
Just if needed.
Yeah. How would you characterize their form right now?
Well, you know, Marcella shooting strong. I really think that one arrow just kind of surprised her with how much the wind moved it. She's got 2 other solid 10s, but Sarah threw down 3 10s right there. That's critical. I mean, to get a 30 in the 4th end, it's huge.
Yep.
You can generally pull points or make points up. Or,
you know, Sarah's shooting regular X10s, and I think it's Pro Tours being shot by Marcella. Am I right about that?
Yeah. Sarah, for whatever reason, has opted to shoot the
real wild solution.
Yeah, the regular X10. I don't believe she cuts from the back like I would advise, but that's kind of a complex thing. And
yep, you're right, Steve. Looking at her arrows and the label, you're right. She's not cutting from the back.
Yeah, I don't ever really recommend a shooter to use the regular X10 out of a compound. The Pro Tour always seems to work better. But
well, it's designed. Each one's designed for its job.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the X10 is designed for recurve fingers, but you know what? You can't argue with Sarah's result this moment.
No, and she's had a good year throughout, so hard to say boo.
What is she using for a bow over there? Is that a Matthews?
Yeah, shooting a Matthews C4.
Yeah, so you know what? It's relatively gentle bow, isn't it? I mean, that's not what you call a harsh cam, is it?
With the single cam, they can oftentimes need a little bit stiffer arrow, but who knows what she's shooting for poundage and all that.
Looks like Marcella's using the one of the Hoyt shoot-through bows.
Yeah, it's a Podium X37 with a spiral cam on
kind of
there.
the bow of the year out there as far as what you look up and down the line, huh?
Yeah, most shooters are gravitating towards that one. It's been a good shooting bow for me. I'm really happy with it.
Well, working, you know, for Easton, we're friends with archers from all sorts of pro staff backgrounds, you know, and I still think on the target venue right now we're seeing a preponderance of Hoyts followed by Matthews, followed by a mix of just about everything else.
Yeah, worldwide, that seems to be the way it is. You see some other stuff here and there, but you see a lot of Hoyt and a good amount of Matthews out there as well.
All right, so with 3 shots to go, it is going to be Marcella Tonioli needing to be as close to perfect as she can be if she wants to continue on.
Yeah, I got to figure, like, here a 29 might get you a draw. 30 is your best bet for pulling a draw, might get you a win.
Or 30 might not be good enough.
That happens.
Yeah.
It does happen.
All you can do is shoot one arrow at a time.
I've personally been on the receiving end of a 149-150 loss. Twice, actually.
I bet that doesn't hurt as bad as one that would be, say, 3 or 4 points less than that, right? I mean,
yeah, the 143-144 loss is
that hurts more
yeah,
than a 149-150.
when you know you left a lot on the table.
Right.
Yeah.
And also, when the guy runs the board on you, there's nothing you can do, right?
No, you can't play defense here. When you can, I have a feeling I'll do all right. 6'6", I can stand in the way of a lot of people.
You also catch a lot of wind.
Yeah.
I thought you were 6'7". I keep hearing the sports commentators from the basketball days say you were 6'7". Was that because you were taller back then?
I do believe, yeah. This age is taking
What are you,
its toll.
20? What are you, 22? Give me a break.
27.
Yeah, I know. Work with me.
Multiple back injuries actually have shrunk me down a little bit.
Well, you still kept up a good pace on the walk here from the hotel.
So it looks like Sarah's going to seal this one up. Marcella didn't capitalize on the first two arrows. Sarah's taking a deep breath, really trying to take her time, not rush into this.
This is great experience for her getting ready for the final, though.
Yeah, all she has to do is hit gold.
Yeah, not even that much. An 8 will do it now. This is great experience for her, though. 10 points to finish. That is solid.
Great close.
Hey, that's greatness right there. It starts one arrow at a time. Very nice. I hear Sarah Lopez will be joining us soon. That sounds really, really cool.
Be good to hear from Sarah. You know,
I'm going to have you talk to her about
cool
things, okay?
Yeah, just broke the world record. Was the highest qualifying compound shooter here, men or women.
Yeah, yeah. She was like in her own bubble of weather.
I think she's in her own bubble of greatness right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's shooting strong.
Okay, so victory for Sarah Sonnersen of Denmark. Decisive, 144 to 139. As the rest of the scores get ready to roll in, any observations about the weather? Look at that, it has changed again.
Yeah, once again, the wind's letting up. Looking at some of the scores, looks like 145 is going to be on the high end. A lot of shooters in the 142 area. So
they say the sun always shines on TV, but in this case, it really is shining at the moment. We've got a little bit of flat light, just a filter, shall we say, of clouds, so we don't have really hard shadows. But it's a lot brighter than it was a few minutes ago.
Yeah, we've got a couple different cameras here, and the one facing the target, as you see two shooters walk away, is looking into gray skies. The other one is looking into perfectly blue skies.
Yeah,
with,
the preview camera, which is
clouds.
not on your screen if you're a viewer right now, but that's the one that's got the wide shot of the venue. You'll see that coming up shortly. And it shows what, let's see, it's actually coming from behind us right now, the weather. So we don't really have a shot going in that direction, but we'll pull out the radar after we get our next score update. See what we got. That's one good thing, is that because it's so flat here, what you see on the radar track is what you're going to get. You know, if you're around a mountainous region like you and I come from, then sometimes it deflects, right? You see that start and then it deflects, goes around you. Here it just comes barreling right through. I'm not so sure these aren't good conditions right now, Steve. If I had to characterize what's going on right this moment, this might be the best I've seen in a while.
Yeah, and shooting outdoors, yeah, you got to expect that a 50-meter match is going to have some wind involved.
Yeah, but is that enough to really worry about out there right now, you think?
As it is right now, I'm probably going to hold straight up, maybe favor the left side of the 10 ring, but you know, most shooters aren't going to have to move much further outside that.
Let me ask you this. What's your technique? You aim off or you bubble it?
I aim off. It's a little more calculable than bubbling. Bubbling is really, really hard to do in a finite amount.
Let's make sure we explain what that all means, because there's going to be some people listening in on this that go, "What? Bubbling? When did champagne come into play?"
Yeah. So shooters shooting in the wind will use one of two techniques to change their point of aim and hopefully get the point of impact correct. If you have a left to right wind, you may bubble into the wind, so you'd lean the top cam into the wind, the bubble go out the other side, and some shooters try to use the lines on their bubble level that's inside their scope to dial it in and figure out what's going to move them back to the middle. It's really hard to do that and be precise about it. I know that the 10 ring is the same size all the time, so I try to just work off that. If it's a really stout wind, I might have to aim at the edge of the yellow, but that's rare. Usually if it's that windy, I struggle to even aim whatsoever. You're more or less trying to get the shot to break in a particular area. So for a shooter who's shooting a slower bow at low poundage, they might have to hold in the red at times, but or a larger diameter arrow, something like that. But being so tall and getting the speed I do out of my bow, and I'm fortunate enough that I don't have to hold off that far. So if I can aim well, I'm usually just aiming off the 10.
And even more fundamentally, there's a level bubble on your scope.
Right.
Exactly.
Which we covered.
All right. Well, I wasn't listening. I was talking to a fellow who's standing behind me here who I'm going to hand my headset to. It is...
George was queuing up Braden Galantine to come on the show. So top USA archer Braden is going to be joining us. Push that button when you're ready to go live, Braden.
Hey Steve, how you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
Doing all right. Ready to watch some archery.
So, you had buys today.
Yes.
You qualified 3rd overall.
Yes, I did. The conditions were really difficult on our qualification day. It wasn't as bad as Turkey during the match play, but it was one of the hardest competitions that I've ever shot in. It was the kind of day where if you shot 115s, 345 on both halves, you were a happy, happy boy. So,
right, and I kind of describe my my tournaments when people say, "How windy was it?" I say, "Well, Braden didn't shoot a 700." So
right.
that's my gauge for the wind. When you and Rio don't shoot a 700, I know it was really windy.
Right. I talked to Rio and I before we started, and we thought 700 might be the number. We thought it might be possible if someone shot perfectly. Higher than that wasn't possible, but as you saw from the scores, we only had 2 shooters who hit 350, so it was difficult.
All right, so we're checking out target 18. We have Andrea Marcos of Spain and Maria Shkolna of Ukraine, who are tied at 140. We'll see if George can get on the scope for us. Let's see who took that. It looks like Andrea Marcos took that in a 1-arrow shoot-off. She'll move on to the next round. She was the winner of the women's compound in Antalya, Turkey.
So she's obviously quite a strong wind shooter, and that is a bullseye. It's well inside the X ring.
Extra bullseye?
I wouldn't say extra bullseye, but it's definitely bullseye plus.
Bullseye plus.
Yeah, that was a pro saw shot.
So for those of you who may be tuning in for the first time, you hear some interesting verbiage amongst the shooters. If you attend an event like Redding in Redding, California, there's a whole different lingo of calling arrows. You have the liner, the jar liquor. What other names you have for it?
Tweener plus, tweener minus, bullseye, extra bullseye, and that's pretty much just a delineation of how strong of a shot it is, whether it's just inside the line or dead center.
Right. So you got the liner and the jar liquor, just barely touching, maybe, unsure.
Yeah.
You got the tweener minus, which is close to the X ring.
Tweener to the minus is kind of just inside the line,
right.
Solid in, but closer to being out than in.
Yes, so it's not an X ring pusher by any means.
Right.
You got the tweener, which is dead center in the middle of
the X line and the inside the bullseye line.
Right.
Right.
And we go to the tweener plus, which is just off the X ring. An X, I guess you would call it,
say
which
like
is
a
touching
half
the
shaft X, something like that. Yeah.
And then the extra middle bullseye.
Right, that is what we're all striving for.
Yes.
Some people call it dead center, some people call it a spider. I mean, it just depends which circle you roll in. But among those of us who are the Pro Sauce group,
I want to throw out
a
shout out to good friend Henry Bass, one of the top pro saucers. He's got all sorts of sauce that he throws out there, and he kind of brought the bullseye term back into play a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, he's did quite well at the Antalya shoot that was going on not the Antalya shoot, the Turkey.
Right, there was one in Istanbul.
Yeah.
So, all right, well, Braden, you shoot tomorrow. Do you know who your opponent is?
I haven't had a chance to look, and I think it's heavily dependent on what happens this afternoon.
Good call. We have yet to shoot the men's matches.
Right.
So.
I'm just going to do the best that I can under the conditions and hope things work out.
All right. Well,
Thanks
we'll
for
let you
having me,
take
Steve.
off, and hope to be seeing you on Saturday.
Thank you.
Thank you to Braden Galantine for joining us. We're going to go through the scores right now and then wrap up the segment until we start the men's matches this afternoon. And thanks for coming in. Oh, and we've got another special guest right now, which as soon as we get done with the scores, we are going to have a chat with the great Sarah Lopez, world record holder. So, Steve, I'm just going to go through the scores real quick because that's what our tech team is asking us to do.
Cool.
Okay, let's start off with just a recap here. Marcella Tonioli of Italy falling to Sarah Sonishin of Denmark. Katie Roth of Canada has lost to Sakaneh Gansipur of Iran, 141-129. Victory for Inga van Kaspel. Victory for Choi Bo-min of Korea.
We got a victory for Victoria Dyakova of Ukraine. Yassine Boston takes the win. Runa Gradelin of Norway over Janine Huntsberger of Switzerland. Irina Markovic wins her match, 140-135. Alejandra Usquiano, the World Cup final champion, with a 137-134 victory. Albina Lojanova, who we mistakenly called out, is still alive with a victory over Tina Karakanen of Finland.
Odd score, though, huh?
Yeah, very low score. It seems they both had some issues throughout the match.
128 to 120. Albina finished with a 23, uncharacteristic low score.
Yeah, that's strange to see. I'd like to be over there to watch a match like that.
Danny Brown still in it. Crystal Galvin of the United States still in it. Linda Ochoa of Mexico.
Staying alive.
Yes, indeed, which is good for you, too, because she'll be in a better mood later. Janine Meissner of Germany, 131-130. Victory for Andrea Marcos in a shoot-off against Maria Shkolna of Ukraine. And it's victory for...
We have Nancy El Jibili of Egypt taking the win over Stephanie Salinas, which is actually a surprise. Salinas has had 2 bronze medals at the first 2 World Cups. Helen Forsberg of Sweden with a win over Louise Redmond of Australia.
10-point win for Maria Vinogradova of Russian Federation.
Giselle Esposito of Brazil with a 142-136 win over de Gries Meinen of Belgium.
Looking at Katarzyna Sladska of Poland winning over Sylvia Barkold of Austria.
And Sandrine Vandianat advances over Sarah Cornelius, 134-127.
Naomi Jones of GBR with a 3-point win over Lucy O'Sullivan. That's turning things around there for Naomi.
Yeah, Naomi was actually trailing in that match, I do believe.
Yes, she was.
Yeah, and looks like she made the comeback over our Jersey girl.
Yes, indeed. All right. So Natalia Avdieva, 8-point win over Ana Cristina Suarez of Mexico. And finally, a big win for
Isabel Danielson of Sweden over Nîmes champion Janine van Kradenberg. I think that's a pretty big upset, especially because Janine is very strong shooting in the wind.
Yeah, I was actually predicting her for a podium at this event, so that's an upset. All right, then, that takes care of the scores. Now let's have our special guest from Colombia.
Sarah Lopez is joining us. Sarah, please sit down. Say hello to the people.
Hi, people.
So, Sarah, we've had a lot going on lately. You've got a world record, qualified #1, beat all the boys here. Tell us a little bit about, first, the world record that you shot in Antalya, Turkey, a 7:08, beating the previous record by Erica Jones, which was a 7:04 that she shot at the World Games in your home country of Colombia. Run us through that a little bit. Tell us about that day. You guys had some pretty prime time conditions, and you got on a roll early.
Well, actually, I shot 7:06 in Medellin, so I got the world record.
You're right.
But 1 month later, I shot 7:08 in Turkey. It was really windy. It was hard because for me, training in a field with no wind at all, it's difficult. But I started to like do some great shots, some so strong shots, and then I forgot about the score. And I was with my teammates. We had no coach over there, so I was with Camilo and Maya and Alejandra. They were with me, and finally I closed with a 60. I always close with a 59 or 58, but that time I shot 60, so I got the world record there. And here I shot, I think, 698 or something like that. It was better than the guys, so I think it's because I don't think about the score. That's the problem with the guys sometimes. They just think about numbers, but you have to stop thinking about that. Just do your best job and train for the elimination rounds. That's what matters.
Right, so maybe the men are out there thinking, wow, this is weird. I'm going to be under 700, and well, what am I at now? What's my pace? And yeah, I catch myself at times doing that, thinking, in poor conditions, oh wow, I'm already down 10 this half. I've got to do this, and we kind of treat 700 as our benchmark. So I guess you're out there shooting arrows. We're out there shooting for score. And
yeah, sometimes it's the same for me. When I see that I'm under 700, I get frustrated and I get sad. But then I see the conditions, I see the winds and everything, and I start to feel better. This weather is making some troubles with the archers, so it's not about the numbers. It's about how good you feel and winning the match, no matter the score.
Right, at this point, all you got to do is win head-to-head. You can shoot a bad score as long as it's 1 point better, you're moving on. So as the number 1 seed, you'll not shoot till tomorrow. And did you guys? I didn't hear the results. How did you guys fare in mixed team? Did you move on?
No, we lost against Slovenia for 2 points. It was difficult because it was really windy, and I shot an 8 in the last round. That cost us a lot of points.
Okay.
But it's fine. I think we're doing a great job. Camilo and we got gold in Yankton. So it was our second world title, and I think you can't always get all the medals. If we got it there, it's because we deserve it there. Here it's for somebody else. So we can, start thinking about the next competition and forget about what happened yesterday.
I guess that's a good approach to it, because you've still got a lot of work left to do here. You don't want to be hung up on the mixed team or the team results. So. Well, before you go, we talked to Mike Schlosser yesterday. He also broke the world record recently. Mike shot a 7.16. He told us his best practice score was a 7.19. So what have you shot in practice, and what do you think the next world record score will be?
My first greatest score was 7.11. Then I shot 7.09, 7.08, but since that, I haven't shot, in practice, counting the points. I just shoot arrows and see how it goes. I decided to stop thinking about the numbers because I get nervous. But my best score is 7.11, and we had nationals some months ago. We shot FITA, so I shot 14.16, I think.
And that's in a full FITA, a FITA 1440 round, as they'd call it now. That's a 70 meters, 60 meters, 50 meters, and 30 meters for the women. And in 50 meters, I shot 3.57. So that's my best score. I'm planning to shoot the world record again. It will be amazing if I do it in Medellin. But if I don't, it's fine. I still have time for doing that. Yeah, so you expect good conditions in Medellin as usual,
I hope
right?
so. Colombia's having a great time right now. It's like summer the whole year. We never have wind or rain or anything. So I think not only the world record for women is going to be beat, I think also for men.
That'll be a tough one to do, and it can be especially tough to do on a big stage. We talked about how Mike did it at Nîmes for the indoor world record. Lots of times we see world records fall in smaller venues, local tournaments that are registered as a FITA Star tournament. But rarely do you see one fall on the biggest stages of the world. But it does happen, as Mike proved and as you proved in Antalya. So we'll be on the lookout for you. And for now, we'll let you get going. I know you've got some practice to do and some prep for tomorrow. So good luck, and we'll hope to be watching you on Saturday.
Okay, thank you.
Well, taking a look ahead at the schedule for the rest of the day, and thank you very much once again to Sarah Lopez for joining us. Always terrific to hear directly from one of the great shooters of our time. We are going to be seeing some great matches coming up this afternoon. We've got some great shooters that are preparing. We've got Pat Larson, the big man, the big Viking. He'll be on target 8 against Luigi Negroni of Italy.
Good chance they'll probably move him down here as the featured match as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they do move Pat, or possibly, we'll think about that in a moment. Alex Wolfgang Wiffler.
The Wolfman.
The Wolfman. What's up with that guy? He is such a great shooter indoors. He won the Vegas shoot. He's doing well here?
He had what I would think he would call a poor qualification here.
Yeah.
It was tough conditions. It happens. Qualification doesn't do you anything. I think he's a really strong head-to-head shooter. I've had to deal with him all year long, and he's probably going to make a run here, I think, for a 49 seed.
My favorite archer, name-wise, ever.
Viktor
Kalashnikov, AK-47, Viktor Kalashnikov. Because if you gotta have an intimidating name in this sport, Kalashnikov has got to be right up there.
He definitely has.
It's beautiful. I love it. All right. So Gabriel Badenhorst, our friend from the Republic of South Africa, he'll be on target 15, and he'll be up against an archer from Ukraine. Marcus Laub of Germany.
Yeah, against Mario Cardoso, who was...
That could be an interesting match.
He was a finalist in Shanghai. It's interesting. We have a lot of what I would consider really, really top compound shooters who struggled with the weather and qualified extremely low. Kind of mixes up the bracket and creates some interesting situations early.
Our buddy from Netherlands, Ruben Blandal, is going to find himself up against our other buddy from Sweden, Magnus Carlsen, and they'll be on target 17.
Could be a good match there. Another
Sean
one
Teasdale from New Zealand. That'll be a good one against Domagoj Budin of Croatia.
Yeah, Domagoj, a really, really strong young shooter. Stefan Hansen will have a match against Khaled El Said from Egypt.
Yes, the young prince, and that will be our feature match.
We're going to have that one on target 1.
Yes, sir.
So Stefan Hansen, the local Dane, will be remaining here. We'll be watching him head-to-head.
Mm-hmm. He's going to be, I think, if he makes it to the final and is out there in front of that sold-out crowd, that he will go from being superstar to ultra-star here in Denmark.
Yeah, Stefan's
super popular.
Stefan's a high-energy shooter. He reminds me a little bit of Braden Galantine. He really shoots in the moment, and some guys that work, some guys that can trap him a little bit, but he's been in enough finals now. I don't think he's too concerned with shooting in front of cameras or shooting under pressure.
Yeah.
I think he could make a good run at this.
The only difference is I don't think Stefan can grow a beard yet.
No, Braden has
Galantine's got
he's
himself a
got
beard.
a pretty nice one.
Yeah? Oh, Stefan does? Braden does.
Yeah.
Yeah, a luxuriant beard, as it were.
Yes.
But I don't think the young prince has got one of those going yet. All right, Roman from Switzerland. I'm looking forward to seeing him shoot. He's feeling pretty good about things against Sebastian Pinot, though. That could be a tough one.
Yeah, as a 45 seed to draw Pinot as a 68 seed, that's
bad luck, because Pinot does not belong in 68, my friend.
No,
holy smokes!
Gold medal winner in Shanghai this year.
The big Viking from Norge, Morten Bo, has got himself up against Mr. Reitmeier of the Czech Republic. Our good friend Peter Elzinga, still holder of the 4-distance world record.
Yep, 14-19. It's been equaled by countryman Mike Schlosser, but Peter is the world record holder.
Look for him on target 27. And then we're going to have a number of other matches that should be worth watching, including PJ Deloche on target 33, Jorge Jimenez of El Salvador on 34.
Yeah, and they could make a really interesting round 2 matchup.
Current world record holder?
No longer.
Earlier world record holder.
Yeah.
Gave it up to Mike Schlusser. It's Chris Perkins of Canada, the world champion.
Yep, and he will be facing Andrei Lebanov of Kazakhstan.
This guy is an enigma to me, but he is so good. Njal Amas of Norway.
Yeah, really quiet guy. You're lucky to get a few words out of him. Super nice. I shot with him at World Field Championships, and
he's on target 36.
Had some huge results.
And his polar opposite on the next target 37, our good friend from down under, Pat Coughlin.
Yeah, Pat, a shooter you don't see a whole lot. The Aussies have a hard time making the trips due to funding and,
I know.
and travel, but had his shot some monster scores as well. And at
The man
43
is,
could make a run.
Okay, this guy, been there, done that, has every T-shirt available in our sport. Morgan London, World Outdoor Champion, World Indoor Champion, World Field Champion from Sweden, and he's on target 39 against Nelson Torres of Venezuela.
Yeah, and as an 86 seed, I mean, here we are again looking at experienced, high-level shooters who are ranked extremely low.
Yeah, how do you get there? Now, here's another one. And especially in this weather.
Champion.
The champion of 2007, Dietmar Trillis, one of your pro staff guys now.
Yeah.
He is target. He's back number 71. What's up with that? That's seated lower than I expect for Dietmar.
Yeah, but you know what? He was part of the Canadian team that shot themselves into the gold medal final. We'll see them on Saturday.
You betcha.
Against Iran.
Sergio Pagni, the Sultan of Smooth, target 42, and he's got competition with a shooter from Ukraine, Mr. Kardash. By the way, Dietmar is going to be on target 44, and he's up against Majid Gaidi of Iran.
So a little preview of their team final.
Our friend Dejan Sitar of Slovenia is up against Marcelo Ruiz Jr. of Brazil. And Alexander Dambaev, who we saw performing really well yesterday in the mixed teams, up against target 47, Sebastian Arenas of Colombia. My great friend from Japan, Yuta Yamamoto, who runs the pro shop at Shibuya Archery in Tokyo, is proudly representing his country of Japan as the sole male compound shooter for Japan here on target 48. This kid is good. He's really good, and I expect we're going to see some good stuff out of him if he gets some support. And Roman Vinogradov of Ukraine on 51. Pretty much, except for the guys who are preceded, and have buys, Kim Jong-ho.
Martin Damsbo.
And don't forget, of course, Braden Galantine.
Kevin Tatarin, another guy, another Canadian who ranked really high.
And Kevin's one of those guys who's always there waiting to pounce. He's so solid.
Right. He doesn't get to shoot a lot of events. I'm sure some of these guys may not have the support of their country. I know the Canadian team, you don't see them at a whole lot of World Cups, but Kevin and Chris, when they show up, they're going to be competitive. Mario Vavro from Croatia, a young shooter who has had a lot of success. He was a winner at the Berlin Open this year, or it might have been late 2014. It was indoor season. He will be a bye, seeded 5th, moving into tomorrow.
Demir Amagakli of Turkey.
Yeah, he's my dark horse pick for the week.
Yes, you did pick him on the podcast that you and I do for Easton. And in spite of how we both weren't able to pronounce his name, when I have it in front of me, I can read it. And we've got Avshak Virma. And finally, the man, the myth, the Schlusser, Mr. Perfect, Mike Schlusser.
Mike, he seeded 4th, and he, when I talked to him, he seemed like he was really upset about that. And I thought, well, Mike, you saw the win, you're moving it forward. He thought, I shot really bad. Okay.
All right. Yeah, he's 4th at the World Championships in the seeding. Well, I'd say that's not such a bad bracket that he's found himself in, and I expect that we will see some great things out of Mike Schlusser if the weather cooperates. And right now, look at that. It looks like it is cooperating. We don't have a great camera shot to show what's going on with the flags, but the point is not much is going on with the flags.
Right. It's as dead as it's been all week. Now there's still some wind, but these shooters are going to look at it as nothing.
Yeah. Okay, so let's wrap it up. We are looking forward to some great matches this afternoon as we prepare to send it back to dead air for a little while here at the World Archery Championships in Copenhagen. We look forward to seeing you in a few minutes' time. 30 minutes' time right now is what I'm being told by our show director. So in half an hour, we'll be back. It is 1600 hours and change on the Longines clocks. And for Steve the
Big Cat
Anderson, I'm George Tekmitchov. For World Archery, we'll be back in 30 minutes.